Game 3 between Team WE and G2 eSports, where the LPL squad are against the wall and need a win to stay alive. Now, I have a few pieces of information to throw at you guys. Team WE have side selection. They chose blue side. They have also elected to sub Ben out, bring Zero in, and I have one extra tidbit for you. G2 eSports have never won a best of 5, 3-0. So, with all of that information, let's talk about some picks and bans. Let's talk about Zero coming in, and what are you looking forward to, Zale?
I mean, with Zero, one of the things I'm kind of looking forward to is seeing if he can bring a different champion pool, something a little bit different, because he did play Zyra, if I recall correctly, in the group stage, and Zyra has been getting banned out. We'll see if that's left open for him, if he can change something up and have a little bit more impact.
He's also known for his Braum, unless I'm mistaken, from the LPL.
He's more the melee support kind of guy. He's another version of Mithy in some ways, but when he was subbed in, obviously he didn't play Zyra, so we didn't get to see any of that. I think it's just a reaction. You need something to change after that last game. Yeah, give you a little bit of confidence back. I think one thing that I would like to see change is WE, I think they should ban out the Olaf. I think that Trick has actually been very effective on it. We'll see if they're willing to give it over to him again. I mean, Kennen 3 times in a row. Kennen is something that, while it is a very powerful top lane pick, I mean, the difference between Trick in group stage and Trick here has been massive, and I think a lot of it is the champion. They do ban away the Olaf, as you just talked about. Funny enough, they decided to ban it over the Lee Sin they banned in Game 1, which was a bit of an oopsie from their side. They did first pick Ivern when they played on blue side Game 1, and they ran the Ivern comp with the double AD carries, Caitlyn and Lucian. Didn't manage to win some of the late game fights, and that's why G2 bounced back and won the game. Same bans for G2. Last time they just removed Zyra as well. Don't think they have to do it in this game.
All right, let's find out what they decide to do. It'll be an Ivern removed from Team WE. They actually locked in Ivern first pick in Game 1 of the series, and actually there will be no pivot here for G2 eSports, going back to their Game 1 strategy.
They played safe.
Didn't net them a win, but that obviously was because Team WE played that double AD comp and allowed G2 some time to scale.
And I think it's smart from G2, stick with what's working until WE proves that it's broken, right? You have a couple games to give now in this best of 5, so I think you keep sticking with what's always been good for them.
So I mean, I'd personally just prefer the Lee Sin ban, just because I think Condi still has their ability to like take over the game. I don't think Zyra bot lane is gonna be that hard for G2 to deal with, but obviously again they want to just try and eliminate some of the bot lane problems.
And to me, one of the biggest reasons that they're actually leaving the Lee open is if you ban the Lee there, they pick the Graves, what does Trick play, right? And I think that is something that he has not really proven. Yes, he can play Elise, yes, he can play other champions, but he has not looked good on them for me. So I think that they're prioritizing comfort for Trick over keeping Condi off of that Lee Sin.
We have to see then if Trick wants that Graves. Caitlyn has been very contested, and so has Ashe. You get your Graves right there. It definitely does make sense. Now the question is, can Trick on a Graves then keep Condi down?
Yeah.
Because I think Condi has been probably the only win condition early game for WE. Mystic then takes over late game, and it's about not getting snowballed on.
And it's such a different style of jungler playing this Graves, which is much more passive, it's farming out. He has had so much pressure on the Olaf in the early game, forcing out summoners, pulling off ganks, even in these early skirmishes, and I think that that is something that they may be lacking this time around, but Caitlyn for Sven is very powerful.
It is taken above the Ashe, though, that we have seen in the other games being most contested AD carry. Now this is a classic for Mystic. Nami bot lane as well to pair it up so we get a very strong 2v2. And now when WE runs these like late game scaling carries, they don't actually need to build a lot of protection around them. They run 1-3-1 comps with Mystic just sitting in the mid lane on this Karkmar here, just kind of scaling up.
And I remember Frostguren talking on the analyst desk about how in the LPL, they like to have an assassin in the mid lane, like to have that additional damage.
And they ran it with Kled in the top lane, like almost no protection, but it was hilarious because you had so much pressure on the back line that kind of protected it.
I like this 2v2 from G2 though. Like there is so much kill pressure for them with Kate and Thresh. It's so easy to hook a Nami into a trap and then she just dies. And the AD carry won't really help her early on in that laning phase. So I think this is actually a good pick from Mithy, but you always got to execute the Thresh to almost near perfection at the international level.
Yeah, you really do. And it does also offer, you know, that gank assist that's so powerful. You can bring in that Graves, flash play with the Lantern. You can set up these picks very well, and it's so strong into this lane, not only because of the Nami, but it's like you hit either people with a hook, and there's so much kill potential.
Ideally, actually, you just hit Nami.
Yeah, hit either.
Well,
yeah.
Hit both.
I agree.
It's fine. Obviously, whatever, just hit the net. Hit one of them, just kill them, doesn't matter.
Well, taking a look at phase 2 bans here, guys. Lucian and Fiora taking off the table.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of discussion around maybe Fiora into Galio is something that we've talked about. Expect has had so many Fiora bans thrown at him this tournament. Sure. Galio's still available. LeBlanc taken off the table. Last ban here, Syndra from Team WE.
And with the Fist still open, it kind of makes it a little bit difficult to pick the Rumble here if you are G2. You can still do it and definitely survive it. But Galio is still such a good pick. Like, there's so few things that will really destroy the Galio, so I think this is a very safe choice for G2.
The one thing is you don't have the delivery system yet, and that does lead me to believe perhaps they're going to try to draft that, from perks. Obviously, you can use the Galio just defensively, try to keep the Graves and the Caitlyn safe and things like this, but I think it's so much stronger when you have the delivery system because it gives you the utility. You can use it multiple ways, and you can use it to start fights that way.
How does WE finish their draft? They've got a couple picks left to go. A few options available to them. I mean, Rumble into Galio is the matchup we just seen, and it went very well for Expect.
Well, obviously Rumble did win the farm war, but 957 didn't really manage to have much impact in the game. Had one very good ulti near the mid lane, and that's about it. Jace being locked in right now will not be a flex pick because they have to show the other solo laner at the same time. Expecting to go top lane, and then we're looking at again like Talia blind, maybe like last game.
There obviously, I mean, is the possibility still like Fizz is open, so you still could have a double flex and kind of confuse them in a way like that. But if you lock Shen, it's very clear where everything is going. And this is, I mean, yes, there is mixed damage from the Kog'Maw, but you can itemize armor so easily against this team.
I also don't like Jay's blind pick. I like him as a flex choice where you can still swap him top because Jace's laning phase is not very strong and he opens up for a lot of champions that wants to just get past the first few levels and then they really look good, and that's an Ahri.
I really don't like this pick ban very much from WE because not only is the Ahri to the Jace perhaps going to be pretty tough, you pick Shen into the Galio, so you're giving up the full lane pressure top. This is not someone who can push in. This is not someone who really takes advantage of Galio. Like, you can have a pushing edge at 2 items if you go Titanic Spirit Visage, but before that, you're going to get shoved in, and I just, I have a lot of questions about this one.
And normally when you see Shen, it's like paired with a really strong bot lane that like wants to really push the team on the tower. You force a dive with Shen ulti. Now it's paired to work with the Jace. So it is a 1-3-1 comp from WE here, as we so often see when they draft like some of these late game carries. And it's like a Shen ulti onto a Jace in a side lane that can then try and kill perks. But Ahri with triple dashes can so often get out of that situation.
And it's giving them the way in for the Galio, right? And that is one of the things that the draft was missing. So I do love that last pick even more. You can dash in. We've seen even combos with Zhonya, so you can go super aggressive. The Galio comes in. It's a nice, easy setup. And I think that they have a very strong composition. That said, I mean, for WE, they do have the carry potential from this Kog'Maw. You have the Nami and the Shen who are going to offer some protection, and you have side lane pressure.
And if you look at the team composition here, not the one we were somewhat expecting. Maybe with a little bit more damage in the top and mid lane, as is more traditional for LPL. But for Perks, only the second time this year that he's run that Ahri. And I'm looking forward to the drive-by Galio delivery system, using that ultimate and leaving a Galio in his way.
And it's also very similar to the problem that they encountered last game. We talked about, okay, you're a relatively one-dimensional comp. You focus the AD carry. The Ahri flies in. The Galio drops his ultimate. The Kog'Maw can do nothing but run now. And then where is the damage from the rest of the team? Who is going to kill off, this Galio who's going to have an immense amount of armor?
It's just such a risky draft because WE, there's no plan B. If they ever fall behind in this game, they don't have proper wave clear. They can't win team fights then. The AD carry wants multiple items before he can kind of solo carry fights, and then he's against a Galio with damage reduction that's right in front of him. They only have one way, and that's forward with this comp here. If they fall behind, they're just completely doomed.
Well, G2 will be looking to prevent that. All of the the expectations coming into this matchup, how Condi was going to completely outshine Trick, has not proven true. These stats here for Condi were from the group stage. It does not include the 2 previous games, and while he's had good performances, Trick has had answers.
He really has, and the question now is, does Trick have the answer on the Graves? Can he match him? Pressure for pressure in the early game with Condi on Lee Sin and Trick on the Graves. Obviously, you got him as comfort pick. Trick can still perform and be exceptionally powerful, but a lot of it is up to his team to avoid the Lee Sin ganks, and they can't expect Trick to match him early.
Looking bot lane, Mithy running, offensive summoner as well. Want to go back to our little thing there with the bot lane. The reason I like focusing the Nami when you run this is Nami is the one who offers the CC. And you have enough damage to kill both of them, obviously, so technically you could kill both. But when you go for Mystic, Zero has a chance of actually interrupting the damage from Sven with like a well-timed bubble. When you hook with Mithy into a trap, it's very easy to burst the Nami so low before she can even shoot a trap in the first place to actually prevent her from not dying right after the trap is landed.
Oh, look at the early trading here. Race to level 2 is on the cards. Mithy started that play. Can he use the Relic Shield to help out Sven? Now Sven and Mithy should clear this wave out first. Second wave starts to conga line its way down. Zero went for that ebb and flow. Got himself a couple of bounces, and we'll see who's going to get this early lane advantage.
And I mean, the other thing that you talked a lot about, Martin, was Thresh can be extremely powerful, but it's execution-based,
yes,
right?
100%.
Because if you miss that hook, well, Nami is going to poke you out so badly, and you can start to get dominated because Nami's lane is exceptionally strong. You just have to be careful about getting hooked, and if you don't get that all in, it can be devastating. But Trick coming down, they have the gank assist, look for the flash play.
Mithy doesn't even need the flash. He throws out the play, flashes away from. That's 2 summoner spells blown. Rinse and repeat next time.
Exactly.
And that was so well done by Mithy. Both flashes forced for just the ignite.
Oh, it's so good for G2's bottom lane right now. No flashes on the side of WE. The trap did not connect in time on the Nami.
And of course, for Sven and Mithy now, they've got an advantage in terms of the 2v2 with Nami and Kog'Maw needing to play more defensive. This should unlock Sven to play a little bit more of this harass game, and Mithy quite literally to go fishing. Because it's a fish.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks. I didn't get the acknowledgement there.
I mean, that was
hooked in the trap.
Gets himself a pug this time round. Snap trap will catch Mystic, and Piltover Peacemaker goes just short.
Yeah, and he was supposed to go to Nami, as Martin was saying earlier, so they must not have been listening to the cast, but we'll give them the
now you can just do whatever you want.
Of course,
see, they didn't get the kill. They were poking. They were poking.
Yes.
Advanced poking.
Yes.
WE playing in a knife stage now in the bottom lane. Take a glance mid. Shia with the Flash Cleanse, playing into Flash Exhaust from Perkz on the Ahri. Kind of feel that early levels, obviously Jace going to have some advantage until Perkz eventually gets some kill pressure.
Yeah, again, this is why Ahri is good here and why the Jace blind pick is so risky, because Jace, pre-level 6, is not strong enough in the lane to just like kill you and dominate the lane. Like, you actually allow Perkz to farm up to 6. Yes, he might get down like 5 CS, but that doesn't really matter in the long run, and then you can start playing very aggressive against Xie.
Yeah, the one thing you can say, if Lee Sin can get involved in the mid lane, you can itemize very well for the 1v1 with things like a Hex Drinker, and you can start to then really get aggressive and jump in melee form on Perkz. So we'll see if they can try to snowball Xie, put him in a side lane where he may be tough to answer.
And to remember, Xie also running the cleanse.
Oh, Charm goes down, cleanse becomes very important. Hypercharge goes out. The shock blast onto exhaust. I think Perkz a little late.
Yeah, very late exhaust right there. The fact he actually got the charm off and then Xie used cleanse on that was very good, because then you can exhaust right after. But Perkz delayed it, so Xie wins this trade. As we talk about, Ahri needs that level 6 first. Perkz is slowly getting there, but that was a bad trade from him. Bot lane fight.
Remember, there's no flashes available. Mystic tries to put some damage to the biokick.
Kondi's here.
Zero's able to flash to safety. Kondi's now the target. Sven continues to chase him down. Kondi's going to at least warthog to safety. The minion rather, and that's 1-0 G2.
And Kondi might have been able to trade a kill back, but missed his Q onto Mithy, and that's so good for G2, especially because Sven is the beneficiary, and they can push this turret with the Graves.
All right, Trick is going to dash away to safety, takes a tower shot for his troubles. Death Sentence goes a little wide. Kondi not going to juke into it, but a lot of damage under the tower.
All right, so return gank from Trick. He already forced the 2 flashes. We know the lane is good for G2 to keep setting up these plays. WE is taking the trade because they know Kondi's coming, and they didn't see Trick. And as soon as you get onto both these guys, where you can just pick whoever's in the front and kill that guy.
And you have to feel like WE is posturing too aggressively without flash. I mean, the fact that Mithy can just walk up and flay your AD carry when he's sitting with no summoners, like, you have to play more defensive than that.
I think they were basically just, sitting there saying, let's bait, because Kondi is on his way down. Like, he was pinging, he was running, but they didn't see Trick sneak into the brush.
They end up getting punished for it. Perkz lands another good skill shot, but has been traded back on Shia and Perks, relatively the same HP. Looking at the minimap, by the way, 957 teleported to the top lane, while Expect did not. So TP advantage to G2 Esports for the next few minutes.
And yeah, the Shen ultimate is going to equalize that, so he feels more comfortable TPing for that farm. And you know, one of the big spikes now, I think, is going to be Condi hits 6, Shen is 6, look to make a play with the Lee Sin ultimate, with the flash up, and that Stand United. That's where WE is going to try to battle back.
Yeah, this is now where G2's bot lane needs to be careful and not just take the bait. You know, you land that hook, you want to go for it, Shen ulti comes in, and then suddenly it backfires.
And their summoners were much later, so they're the ones without flash, but they're looking for Perks.
All right, Perks is able to sidestep the Sonic Wave. It fell just short and holds on to his summoner spell.
Jay has to be careful. He has no cleanse right now on Perks. Can try and all in him if he has enough mana. Now bot lane again, remember, the Shen ulti, it's something teams will always just communicate all the time. Be like, it's ready, don't go for any stupid fights.
And this time around, Sven and Mithy do not have those flashes available to them. Perks is pushing very, very far forward. The charm connects on Ashia. There's no cleanse. Sparrow Rush goes forward. The hammer down, not going to pick up the kill. And Perks solo Shia.
And no Shen ulti.
Yeah, and why did Shia flash forward? I don't know if he was expecting the Shen ultimate to come in and trying to turn that around, but now Condi goes in.
The charm connects, and that saves Perks' life.
Some big plays in the mid lane.
I mean, even if 957 could get interrupted by Expect, you should ulti for the shield,
yes,
right? Like, you don't have to actually come through. And if Shia flashes away, you get that Shen ultimate, you have to think he would survive.
And that's where sometimes a player can look like really stupid for flashing forward, but we don't know if there's communication problems. You know, we don't know if she was calling for that, and then it didn't happen. Bot lane fight, though.
Down 0, despite being caught by the death sentence, will survive to fight another day. Got himself that Aqua Prison down onto G2 and manages to force them away. The support from both junglers here.
Yeah, and Condi, he is backing off, but still, you know, G2 should know the kind of play that they're looking to pull off, and that's why it's even more important for Expect now to have the push and to shove them out.
Wow, death sentence through the Aqua Prison, will not follow it.
Yeah, he's baiting so hard. He wants Mithy to just fly in there. Shen ulti comes down. Condi's already in the bottom lane, but G2, they're communicating. They're saying, don't fall for the bait. We're already winning the game. Just play it safe.
Yeah, they're 1,000 gold up, 2 kills to 0. And in terms of this team composition here, G2 did not want to fall behind. They've had great proactive plays. It does look like another fight's going to break up. Stand United still available. Zero's going to get chunked down, 100 HP. Stand United will be channeled, but Expect ready with the teleport. Zero arrives, and here comes Trick 2.
And Trick is in, and Expect actually canceled, so he's pushing up. So 957 is losing a lot of this. He TP'd back to lane, uses Stand United bot lane, and this is great for G2.
I mean, again, it's just perfect played in the bottom lane. They get the hook, they win the fight, and then they don't overchase. As soon as they see the Shen ulti, they back away, and good cancel, as you just highlighted, as AL from Expect. Right now, they're winning everywhere.
All right, Shia to the skies. The hammer, not going to be enough damage under Perks, but it feels like Perks is surviving. He's down 10 CS, got a kill to his name, a solo kill to his name, no less, and G2 at 10 minutes. Gonna be pretty comfortable. Whoa, big shot though from Shia.
Yeah, and Perks has no potions. He should show the respect in base, and he will do that, especially when you have Graves who can actually pick up that farm and can scale pretty well. It's not as big of a loss.
All right, game is slowed down ever so slightly. It is a Cloud Drake up and available. Nobody's made moves for it. We talked a lot about Mystic and how he's going to be one of the primary carries here on this Cogmore. Despite the Ashe being up and available, he's played exceptionally well. One of the superstars on Team WE. And of course, Mystic, we need to keep his eyes working on that Blade of the Rune King. -5 CS, despite actually not having those summoner spells. And you can see some of his stats from earlier in the group stage.
But it's not been a 2v2 lane he could really dominate like we normally see from this bottom lane when they pick like the Caitlyn or the Ashe early and then pair it with the ranged support. Accepted that it is a hard lane for him to play, and Shen ulti being down is pretty huge for G2 in terms of the 2v2 fighting.
And we can't forget it was made even harder by the fact that Trick did come down there, forced those summoners early, and you know, while he has not gotten a lot of kills or anything like that, he has still had presence and been able to match Condi. So that has been turning out very well for G2. Even on this more late game jungler, more farming jungler, he's been able to match.
This is now we need to take a step back. G2, the heavy underdogs in this matchup, on the verge of 3-0ing WE is going to be a pick being set up. No flash available to Shia. Going to use that cleanse. Spur Rush comes up, but there's so much damage. Condi jumps into the fight, though. Perkz forced to flash away. That's a kickback onto Trick. Shia survives with his life. Orb of Deception doesn't get anyone, and Condi saves his mid laner.
Condi, the hero right here. Super, super big play from him. Would have been horrible if Shia had actually died, and his mid tower taking so much damage.
If Shia sticks around, though, Expect has flash, could look for a dive here. They're going to go for it.
Expect goes forward with the punch. Shield of Durant catches Zero as he's locked up by the Aqua Prism, but he's not dealt damage, so there's no tower aggro yet. Winds of War goes out, and G2 get tower first bloods.
Yeah, and the tables have just turned. Game 1, we saw this exact play from WE where they got a play in the mid lane. Their bot lane roamed in, they took down early tower. Now it's G2 doing exactly that because they're winning bottom lane. They have kill pressure mid, and they're making these rotations, and that's an early first tower. The first game, I can't remember where G2 actually got an early first mid tower. They always get side turns, but not the mid one.
And it was a really nice roam down from Expect, not blowing his TP, saving his ultimate, simply walks down, loses a couple creeps, but forces WE to back off and respect that potential dive.
Ooh, just a few seconds on that one, MVP Ward.
Condi's going to spot it in a second. Oh, maybe he's looking further up the lane. Nope, there we go. Spots the debris, forced to back away. G2 plus 2,000 gold. And I'm going to go back to that point a moment ago. G2 with huge underdogs. Team WE, I think there's going to be a lot of people that can debate the picks and bans across the 2 games because you guys were raising some question marks, and G2 seem to have just really good answers for what the LPL representatives are putting down.
Yeah, and I think if you want to talk about underdogs within this game, it's going to be very hard to win from this position, it feels like, for WE, because their composition is very one-dimensional. As you said, they can only really go forward. They have very single kind of type of damage. Yes, there's some mix from the COG, but Expect is going to be this massive front line. Yep. You have powerful carries, 3 sources of big damage from G2, and it feels like the game is in their favor.
Definitely in G2's favor right now. They have the tools to always start fights and match that split push we talked about in Champs League with the 1-3-1. Trick, once he's red buff right now, has been very active. Game 3 as well. And Perkz getting all in.
Once again being jumped down onto. The charm was held on. Trick is pretty low from that red buff. Stand united by some time. Damage reduction from the heroic entrance. 957 and Condi, they double team to kill Trick. Now Expect is caught in between a rock and a hard place. Condi's trying to cut off the retreat. Flash over the wall. Expect goes down. 2 kills, WE.
And that's a very good play from WE, knowing the Shen ulti was ready this time here for Condi. Trick, while he had a lot of burst, can't take them down 1v2, and of course Expect not able to join in time. And it's these plays that we are hoping to see from Condi and the rest of WE to get back in the game.
Yeah, now that Shia has pushed Perkz out of lane, they get the mid pressure, and they may just kill this turret off. This is really, really good for WE, finding plays through Condi.
Looking at the mini-map, Mithy's making his way up from the river. The tower goes down, but there's no ultimate from Perkz, so no real possibility to engage. And Expect uses that TP to defend the top lane wave. WE with their first counter-strike of Game 3, and they make it count.
Exactly, and important for Shen. For Shen as a champion is just weaker than Galio right now, but his ulti is the key thing. So when you can finally get a fight like this, where Trick is actually forced to kind of take it because he has no flash, as we just see the jump in once again into the burst. I'm really not sure what to say.
Well, I mean, it was a nice play from Condi, right? As soon as you hit that Q, he had the confidence to go forward, having the Shen backup, and you know, Expect did ult over, but by the time he got in range, it was too late, and he was essentially just delivering himself to be killed.
All right, 957 looking for another hero play.
Good sidestep. He
sidestepped so many moments. 957 in the LPL finals managed to hold off 2 members on that Shen, and it allowed WE to get a Baron that then went on to win the game. Let's see if we can pull some more hero plays today.
Yeah, and this is fine for WE because they're already cross-mapping with Jace down the bottom lane, and they got a Dragon on the way. So this is actually a good trade for WE.
It is. The one thing I'll say, oh, nice. I didn't know that worked like that.
Expect's going to catch Condi out, but the support here for WE. Expect needs to just use that Q to wave clear. Aqua Prison locks him down. Mystic gets his first kill of the game.
Bit unlucky pathing right there from Expect. He was actually already walking around the tower, and then his champion walked the other way to the left of the tower, so he actually got in range of that bubble from Zero. ends up going down.
That was a pretty strange interaction between Lee Sin kick and Galio
Yeah,
punch. It looked like he got kicked back, but the delayed swing forward actually moved him back forward, and expect getting caught out does go down.
Yeah, it definitely caused my brain to blue screen for a moment as I was trying to piece that together. Unfortunately for Expect, that makes the trade even better for WE. They got a blue buff, a dragon, a tower, a kill, and it's a kill into Mystic's Cosmo.
And I do feel like one of the things for G2 is anytime Jace goes to a side lane now, I feel like it should be Expect answering, not actually Perks. I think that you can match that up very, very well. He's building armor. He's not going to get poked out. You have very safe wave clear from under the turret as the Galio, and you also have the ability to roam away with your ultimate, with your teleport. So I like that lane assignment a lot more.
Especially when you look at the itemization, as you mentioned. And I see Trick, he's got the Ninja Tab by this time round. Got himself a Ruby Crystal. I'd like to maybe not see a Spirit Visage on his Graves this time round. Against, obviously, the very heavy physical damage threats in WE.
To make it even worse now for G2, you know, not only have they now lost 3 kills and lost a lot of gold, they had that perfect setup with their bot lane just able to constantly force fights. That's kind of gone now because laning phase is over, everything is opened up. And this is where the Shen can shine. Like if you find these 1v1s, then you turn them into 2v1s with the Shen. That's how you can keep getting kills with your WE.
And 957 is almost at that big 2 items. When you hit your Titanic plus your Spirit Visage, that's when you can really start to have control of the waves against the Galio. You can push so fast and really ignore most of that magic damage coming in.
Yeah, Perks needs to just kind of surrender the mid lane because of the Shen ulti onto GA, so you can see GA can push and then roam. And again, that always gives more map pressure in favor of WE, because the side lanes from G2 are constantly saying, we can't actually fight now because there might be multiple people coming at the same time. And Perks has to try and push it back out.
Oh, another gigantic accelerated shock blast. Perks is trying to run away. Gets the heroic entrance. Not going to be enough yet. The shock blast falls short. Perks survives with his life. Now Expect gets taunted up by the Shadow Dash. There is support for G2 coming down. Trick manages to sidestep. Condi's landed a Sonic Wave onto what I think was Miffy. And luckily, by the skin of Perks' teeth, he survived.
Yeah, that was so incredibly close to taking him down, and Shea really is trying to assert his dominance at this point and take over the mid lane.
All right, Mithy's looking for Mystic. Death Sentence sidestep by Zero. The tower is the focus, and there's a lot of WE support. Trick is caught in behind. He's jumping onto Mystic, gets exhausted down. Teleport from Expect, gonna be into the midst of the WE squad. Mithy gets taken down by Condi, and Sven is able to escape. Now Shea jumps into a fight with Trick. Expect gets one back into Mystic. The true damage from the Acaphian surprise. Gets some damage down. There's no Spirit Rush. Perks needed it defensively. It's a 1-for-2 WE.
WE, again, they know they need to keep forcing fights with this comp here because they finally managed to get a few picks. They even out the game, and they need to keep pushing it. They don't want to allow Sven to just sit and farm up on this Cadian, and Perks as well to get 2 fully complete items before anything happens. So this is a very good force once again from WE.
It really is, but I do think if G2's bot lane played the initial part of the fight a little bit better, that could have been turned around more. You know, you need to see someone like Mithy flashing early before you can get kicked in, dropping the Lantern, allowing your AD carry time to get out. As soon as you see these guys, I think you have to early flash and drop Lantern to give Sven more room to get further away. Then you give him the extra hits of your flash, and he can flash again after that. So it's like, it would have been a lot more safe.
Oh, we have to jump out of that replay very quickly. Perks this time round is missing some of those charms. 957 taunts him up, and Perks gets kicked backwards by that Dragon's Rage. 957 gets the kill. Trick and Sven actually take down Condi. It's a 1-for-1. If he's backing away, got that Lantern available, and Mystic also running up through the river.
Some of those fights that went in favor of G2 earlier in the game are now suddenly going in favor of WE due to a lot of missed skill shots from Perks right now. And once again, it's allowing this WE comp to actually function and look for more plays.
And I mean, you can have the better comp, you can have every advantage coming out of draft, but you still have to execute. And right now, WE is the ones that are executing, and they're making their draft work.
And of course, for WE, a lot of pressure on their back. They're down 0-2 in the series. You know, the heavily publicized story of G2 is redemption. One that I think we've not hit maybe as hard for the WE side is the rebirth to the international scene. This is a team that once was phenomenal in China many years ago, and now they're here to prove that they belong at the top. It's a return to glory of sorts.
Yes, exactly. I like the return to glory for these guys, and making the final will obviously be huge for them. Challenge SKT, a team they went 1-on-1 against in the group stage.
And it's also been about the build-up for this team. You know, the new WE, with Mystic coming in, Xie coming in, a couple years back at IEM, they were last place in LPL. They're able to bring them in, and really it's been an upward trajectory ever since. And this has been kind of the peak that they have reached since then, getting all the way to this international tournament, one series away from the finals.
We have 2 items on Perks and Sven, pretty huge for G2, and they're looking for a fight.
Accelerated shock blast onto Trick. Look at all those knockbacks, knockups, and knockdowns. Trick is already dead. Miffy's now forced to run away. Sven uses the 90 caliber net and expect he's doing a great job at buying time. Perks connects with a charm and allows Sven to get the kill onto Condi before Sven gets shut down by the living artillery and the damage from 957.
What an insane engage right now from WE. They're combo together to get the kill. They don't have a jungler, but they're going for Baron. Perks is the only man alive on G2.
And I think this is theirs for sure. Perks has no ultimate, no way to contest this safely whatsoever. And WE find the fight again and grab another early Baron.
One-dimensional team comp that when it works, it is beautiful. Shock Blast and Aqua Prison to thwart Perks away. WE with Baron and a 4,000 gold lead.
Yeah, again, you just have to give them so much credit for how they're starting this fight. Nice poke first, and Condi goes in, kicks Trick into Misty, and get further knocked up by, of course, the Nami ulti, and at this point now, with also a good bubble on Perks, there's no damage from G2.
Yeah, and it's about those individual plays within the fight, from Zero, from Condi. So well done, and really putting them on the back foot.
Yeah, and it should be almost impossible to hit a bubble on an Ahri. With the
Perks kicked in again.
Perks is already dead. Miffy's the next target. No flash available to him. He's kicked backwards. Condi follows the Sonic Wave to secure. Sven and Trick will be the targets. Again, no flash for Trick. Very big chunk onto Sven. The tower will slow down WE, but not a lot. Caitlyn snap trap. Will at least buy a couple more seconds, and the prison is sidestepped. Sven continues to get chased. He gets a 1 onto Xia, but it's a double kill for Mystic.
Once WE got an advantage in this game, they just went forward, forward, forward all the time, constantly looking for fights, and they're outplaying G2 in these skirmishes.
They are getting so strong. I mean, that was a level 15 Jace, chasing down a level 11 Caitlyn, running him down, diving past multiple turrets, and they kill him in the base.
Yeah, and Jace, they got killed in lane. WE were down 2,000 gold. They couldn't really do anything. Every lane was doing well on the side of G2. But then it all started with a Condi play against Trick with the General. Now this is obviously G2 trying to get a Dragon as a trade for the Baron, but they're overstaying, and that's why they're dying.
And it was such a smooth Warthog kick there from Condi, so ridiculously fast. The ultimate was actually available there for Perks. Didn't even get to activate it before he got kicked in, so really nice play there from Condi, and it's been so much about the Lee Sin and the Shen working well together and finding these plays.
And I 100% agree with your point in Champ Select about leaving Lee Sin open so you can trade it for the Graves, get the comfort pick for Trick as well. But when Condi is showing up on this champion, then you have to question G2's mindset a little bit and say, game 4, do we want to still give Lee Sin to him? The trade was good.
Now it starts creeping in.
Now you start thinking me like, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but the same thing that you guys said in Picks and Bans, until WE show that they have a counter or an answer to those 3 support bans, G2 have a little bit of breathing room. It's 25 minutes into the game. They're down 5,000 gold, and Baron's still up for a minute. But as G2 have said many times this tournament already, they will keep fighting until the last minute. And if a pick can catch out Xia or Mystic, that is the damage source gone, but look at that gold swing.
And I also feel like if you can just stabilize as G2, they have a more well-rounded team composition, a more diverse damage profile. They still have ways back in, but WE has their foot on the gas pedal, and they are looking to snowball this advantage.
It's going to be impossible to stabilize with Xia connecting shock blasts like that. Look at the damage on the Perks and Sven. 30 to 50% of their HP. Clearing out the wave, and Xia basically shooting fish in a barrel at the moment. G2, they're going to lose their last outer turret just down to inhibs. That's going to be a hell of an impressive Baron power play.
Yeah, especially when if you actually add in the gold that they got at the team fight prior to Baron, the gold swing has been enormous in the last few minutes here for WE, and so much of the credit to Condi. 13 out of 14 kill participation here. He has been everywhere. He's been pulling off really hard mechanical plays and make them look easy.
I think if you look at the kill participation for the whole team is the next step, right? You know, 9 out of 14, 10, 8, 11. The whole team really has stuck together, played around those combinations, which is what they needed to do, and 4,600 gold power play.
As I said before, it all started with Condi finding Trick in that jungle, taking the fight, get Shen ulti, 1 kill, turns that into a mid lane play from GA as well, that results in a mid tower, and suddenly that little gold deficit you had, it was even out. But they never felt far enough behind to obviously not be able to play the game.
I am going to just stop for a second and rewind all the way back to us coming out of that ad break. If you are a European fan, if you want an LCS team to win, this was not the game that was going to happen. G2 have never won a best of 5 3-0. They have to drop a game in every best of 5.
I thought he was going to talk about the Queen Wave.
Oh, yeah. Doomed from the start is what Trevor said.
In this game, yes. In this game, yes. G2 will have side selection in the next game, and they'll have to find an answer to picks and bans. WE are going to get a lot of momentum on their side. Whoa, Sonic Wave almost catching Sven.
Yeah, and I don't think it's an answer to pick and ban phase. Like, this was a perfectly fine pick and ban phase from G2. It was in-game.
I agree.
They got outplayed by WE, and that's what they got to obviously talk about, how to avoid some of those skirmishes again. And Perkz going in, missing another charm.
And not going to find 0. Look at the damage onto Sven. That is a lot. He hasn't built up a lot of lifesteal, if any. 957 captures a taunt onto Perkz. Living Artillery gets a lot of damage down. Sven and Trick zoned away. Living Artillery drops Sven below 100 HP. WE now onto the mid lane inhibitor turret, but there's no minions to speak of.
But G2 is chunked out. There's no ultimate on Ahri. There's not a lot of a way to fight back, and WE is going to siege this aggressively and look to crack the base.
And Sticks going to hold on to that Bio-Arcane Barrage. Fires it down. 2-man knock-up on the Aqua Prison, and 957 continues to play the split push game. Using that Titanic Hydra, he's got a GA as well, so can look for a tower dive if he wants to. GA steps into a trap, takes a lot of damage from Sven.
And that is Mikhail's end cleanse down, so if they can combat any more CC, it would be very big for G2.
20 seconds on Perkz ulti right now. G2 will need it for a fight.
Oh, look at that damage again. Accelerated Shock Blast, chunking down Trick and Sven. But Perkz has not found an important charm in the last few minutes of defense.
And they bought time for Expect to reset, get his health back. Top Wave is pushing in, but G2 has weathered the storm and they survived for now, but Perkz kicked in!
Oh, Perkz is in so much trouble. Heroic entrance. That's going to send Expect flying to the front line. Tidal Wave splits up G2 and Expect gets a good defensive flash. Now in a 5-on-4. Team WE can set their sights on any inhibitor turrets.
Again, G2 trying to just wave clear, see if they can defend the tower. Hook on the Condi.
It's not going to be enough.
Oh, what a play.
From 957, the play pulls it short. 957's got a GA, remember. It's going to get popped on the steps of the tower.
That was so massive from Mindy. That play may have just saved their inhibitor.
May have just saved the game, Azael. G2 under so much pressure at 30 minutes. They're down nearly 10,000 gold, but they hold on.
And I mean, you talked about it, Martin. It's the plays that decide the game. And that play from Mithy was so big to keep them in this game and keep their hopes alive, because the gold lead is not out of control just yet, but they are onto the Baron.
All right, double bubble there for G2. Condi's going to kick away Trick, set that up. Seen that before.
I love that. I love that.
It looks even better now.
Yeah, it looks so good. When you fly out, you're the man kicking the jungler away, and then you're back into smite the Baron.
The son of Baron sends his regards, Trick. Baron number 2 to Team WE.
Condi has just done everything this game, from the catch onto Perkz. He takes the Baron, secures it by kicking Trick out, and he's just been playing such a beautiful game.
There's a statement that every best of 5 has to occur when we shoutcast, guys. We have games like this. You know it's going past 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a series on our hands.
Not yet.
That's supposed to be the winning call, Trevor.
Yeah, you're going to have to save that for when you actually have
now he's got nothing for the end.
Well, okay,
you can do the winning call now.
I get the winning call.
Yeah, you got it.
I've never done a winning call.
Yeah, and I don't think you should. Zale, if we're going to promote anyone, it'll be you.
I think that's unfair.
Dragon goes to Team WE. That's their 3rd of the game. G2, no objectives outside of those outer turrets. And once again have to fend off the split push threat. Look at this, 1-3-1 set up for WE.
And it's just a perfect setup because the first Baron is often what you use to get a massive goal lead because you get all the outer turrets down. Then you wait for the second Baron, and that's what you use to kind of close out the game. Then I'll have that second Baron that looking at the inhibitors.
And you saw how hard it was for G2 to clear those waves and hold on without the Baron. Now WE is back there shoving in top, and they are looking for a pick that could end the game.
Trap line's gonna buy a few extra seconds. Perks gets decent damage onto Condi with that Orb of Deception. Tagged by the Sonic Wave. Condi, no flash available to him, and Mithy caught up by the knockup of the Aqua Prison. Minion Wave slowly going down.
Zero has been so on point this game. Comes in on the sub, hitting bubble after bubble. Really near perfect play on the Nami, and I've been so impressed.
I'm so glad you bring that up. Zero, of course, that one game played in the group stage last week was against SKT. And while he was not necessarily the reason they won, he was involved. He took part and played that Zyra to perfection. Playing his Nami even better as G2 now have to defend once more.
They're trying to wave there and have a lot of it. You know, Galio, Graves. Almost every member actually offers some sort of wave on the side of G2, but still these towers taking some damage every time.
And WE is using their poke so well. Condi goes in!
It does. Perks manages to dash away to safety. The Charm will not find a target, but the tower is being hammered away on. Mystic and the rest of WE take down the tower. The inhibitor's next.
And just a zoning engage, honestly, here from Condi. He goes in, everyone is focused on him, and the rest of WE are just hitting that tower. Just another beautiful play from Condi.
And so critically, Sven had to flash there. He uses his flash. That is the big carry. If you take down Caitlyn at this point in the game, you can often end the game.
Especially because Perks has not been performing on Ahri. He's actually made this pick look super lackluster in this game. Almost not hitting a single charm in a team fight. And it's basically just been all about Sven's damage.
I'm talking about damage. Mystic with the Wit's End. Hurricane, Blade of the Rune King. He's now looking for the next turret. Another shock blast connects onto G2. Look at the minimap. 957 in the bottom lane. Shia gonna usher in some minions in the mid lane, but no, he's just backing up 957. Another shock blast. Shia has got some sort of aimbot on because nothing is missing.
Yeah, he's doing it so well. At Mystic, even the follow-up Kog'Maw ultimates to poke them out even further. They've been using this composition so well.
All right, Baron's gonna wear off. Shia goes forward. No more empowered minions. This is very good for G2. All of a sudden, Perks didn't expect can help.
Oh, he's in!
Sand United onto Condi, tricks the man that gets tagged. This time around the charm connects, but it's not enough damage. Condi's able to walk away. Comes out the redemption. G2 unable to find a kill, but they hold on to their tower.
All right, Zero's flash is gone now. 957 flash gone. They go for more.
957 gets caught out. He's in trouble. Gets interrupted by a Justice Punch. G2 get one back.
That was so big for G2, holding on there. Without their carry splash, they do survive. It looked like Mystic couldn't get forward to actually follow up on that whatsoever, so it was just the front line in, and the backline damage from WE could not join the fight.
Tower stayed alive as well. Remember, it was there during the fight to Condi. Look for another one of the big plays, but a nice play from Mithy. And then Condi is now behind the enemy lines, and no one is actually there to help him until 957 joins.
Yeah, and where's the damage from WE? You can look on the minimap, you see the Jace and the Kog'Maw outside the base the entire time. They can't walk through the turret, so despite a dive this far ahead, if your carries are not in position to follow up, it does not work. And yet another great play, another good pick from Mithy to get the shutdown, and Perks gets an injection of gold.
As well as the rest of G2, this Baron power play only plus 2,000. Less than half of the first time round. And WE will have their Guardian Angel available for the next time they want to set up a dive.
They will, but one of the big things for G2 is they now have the armor pen. They have the double Zeal item IE. This is such a strong point for Sven. He can start to shred through that front line that has been stacking armor, and a lot of pressure is on him to get the work done.
And it will be much harder for him to do it in this game because he doesn't have the Nunu and all the shields to protect him. Expect looking for an engage here.
The crowd is going wild. So much noise here in Rio. The Brazilian fans are getting behind this action-packed game. 22 kills in 35 minutes. We talked about Sven's itemization. Mystic is also got a Rage Blade picked up, so Expect cannot stand toe-to-toe. Look at that, 2 autos from Mystic is dropping his HP down.
One of the nice things, though, about his itemization, he has the Knight's Vow, so he can heal back up from the damage being done here by Sven. And since the Stand United is just now coming up, this is where G2 have to be worried. This is where they could look for that play.
the mini-map. 957 again playing in a side lane. WE have done pretty well all tournament long of playing multiple lanes at once, not committing to that ARAM style to try to force a tower.
Yeah, I think just whenever WE have been ahead in gold, they've done a very good job of securing Barons and actually using 1-3-1 split push. Expect here trying to once again wave down top side, but they're just getting pressured in multiple lanes, and now this bot lane tower is so low, and Mystic just needs a few seconds on it.
Right, Mystic will take a couple autos from the tower. There's no minions there, remember, so that enhanced armor really keeping G2's hopes alive.
And the lane assignment's really tough here for G2 as they're getting poked down. They don't have all the pieces in place to hold on all sides, it looks like. They may have to choose a moment and really engage on one side, or they're going to get whittled down.
Spec gets a very good amount of damage onto Shia, but there's support coming. Condi and 957, Perks and Mithy making their way up. Where's the Lantern? Available if needed. Perks holds on to the charm, I think. Didn't quite see that one go out. Didn't find a target. It doesn't matter. G2 continue to defend.
Oh, and he goes forward. He gets killed by Mystic.
All of a sudden, 5v4. Aqua Prison not going to find a target, but WE have an advantage. There's still a Baron to play for if they want it safe.
It felt like Perks was trying to force that so hard. He felt like he wasted his ultimate up top and tried to go for a big play on Mystic, but he used his last ult charge to get in. Has no way to get out. Just gives up a free kill and the Baron, which could result in the game for WE.
I mean, again, WE are so far ahead, so it feels like they already have the game, but they still need to close it out. And that is difficult against the wave clear. And of course, it's late game Caitlyn. But we look just for one fight in favor of WE. And this base is just completely gone.
And I mean, I think that they're going to perhaps get that fight as they're TPing in. They're looking for it now.
Oh, Sven's going to be the target. He's going to get caught in between. Home guard comes up. It's only a matter of time. 957 runs him down. The Lantern from Mithy keeps Sven alive a few seconds longer. But here comes Mystic. He's cleaning up the wave. Expect will have Perks alive in 2 seconds. But it's a 5-on-4 defense.
And they could just go back out to Elder if they want. They could try to push top and go for the end. We'll see what the choice is going to be. They're going to knock down bot to start.
Yeah, just get these towers down right now, because G2 have been defending behind these towers for such a long time. Just open up the base. And then you know your team fighting right now is strong. You're ahead in gold. And you should be able to close out the game. If not this time, next time.
There's 2 GAs on the side of Team WE. That's going to give them some confidence. Stand United available as well. The Mystic, frontline, Pugmore. That's the way to do it, Deficio.
Wants another tower as well. That's the last one. This inning will fall as well.
10 seconds before Sven comes alive. Look at that! Taunt, flash, Perks is down. Team WE making it look easy. G2 eSports are routed. 3 seconds for Sven to get up. Super minions will start making their way in, but Baron is still buffing up the regular minions. Nexus turret goes down. Condi is zoning away the entirety of the European LCS squad. WE now onto the Nexus. Shia takes a lot of damage. He's forced away. Collateral damage won't kill him. The Nexus is the focus, and WE give us a series.
Right back in it. 2-1 the score now, but WE put on such a good game. They swapped in 0. They look like a completely new team, and Condi and 957, so much credit to these guys for making things happen throughout the game. But it was, Mystic and Shia really shining in the late game too.
Yeah, we said it, this comp is just forward. They started to fall behind. It looked really good for G2. We're getting kind of scared here. And then Condi made the big plays to turn it all around before it was too late. And then it was just forward from WE.
Listen to the thunder here in Rio. Team WE walking away victorious in Game 3. G2, their heads hanging low. I mean, talked about it wasn't picks and bans, it was gameplay mistakes that cost G2.
Yes, and that's why a loss like this one really will hurt you, because they were like happy with the draft for sure. Like Perks was glad to get his Ari as well, and then he didn't play well at all, so he's probably not confident on this champion for the future games. And also the fact that you lose out to these skirmishes when you were actually winning the game and looking really good.
And I think one of the other really tough parts is it can make you doubt what was a good draft. Do you have the confidence to run it back?
True.
You maybe felt happy coming out of Champions League, but do you run it back again?
Well, luckily G2 will have side selection in the next game. So, ladies and gentlemen, Team WE have secured their first game of the series. For more on how they did that, let's hand it over to the analysts.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Team WE not ready to make the trip home just yet. They swap in 0. They get victory #1 in their attempt to reverse sweep G2 here. Of course, they still got a lot of work to do, but they got it done with the Kog'Maw on the bot lane, the Nami to support it. What are our thoughts here in terms of the switch-ups that WE made coming into this? game.
I mean, the first switch up is on the roster side. They bring in Zero, who's on Nami, he's on a disengaged support, he's with a hyper carry. You think of Zero, and the last time he was on the world stage in any real way was Season 4 Worlds a long, long time ago now, but it was with Uzi. It was Uzi playing the hyper carry. It's mostly the Justana in those days. Well, we shouldn't be surprised that that part worked, because that is where Zero has always shined. His Thresh is good, but his disengaged support was always his comfort. And speaking of comfort, Condi on Lee Sin this game, that was a highlight reel in just a single game that you could apply to a career.
It was, but his Lee Sin in game 2 was terrible. So I think Condi just played a lot better. I kind of agree with the Cashers there where the draft wasn't the problem for G2. I liked G2's team composition more than I liked Team WE's team composition, but it was the play and the playmaking of Condi and the rest of Team WE that got them the victory.
I just want to make a quick note because you mentioned the last time we saw Zero international stages with Uzi. He did actually play in the group stages here the victory against SKT.
Yes.
Right, so Valte, just had to throw that in. Kobe, over to you.
And when we're on the bottom lane here, I also want to look at G2s because they start off so well. I mean, we're talking up Mystic coming into this match. We're like, this guy's a star. He's absolutely crushing laning phase. Mithy locks in the Thresh, and you're like, oh, yes, Mithy's going to go for some early
sick plays, too.
Exactly. Early on Thresh, they're able to get the first blood. You know, Trick is getting down there. He's involved. So things early were looking good for G2 as far as their playmaking, and it was really about the mid game, where Condi flips the switch, Xie's playing super aggressive on that Jace, and 9-5-7 on the Shen that got them here.
All right, let's take a look at it then. That kind of mid-game switch here for Team WE. Our Acer replay from this game, a 4-for-1 into the Baron in the mid lane. Condi, some fancy feed here on Lee Sin.
Yeah, and this is comboed so well with 9-5-7. They basically just face tank the Galio, and G2 was never able to get in. I do want to call back again to the Olaf ban. That's a solo frontliner who's not providing threat to kill Mystic and Xie, and that allows them to run out the back of the fight.
Double jungle ban seems to be working here because the Olaf was the new tech they brought into this series. As you say, only a solo frontliner. The Graves, a comfort pick for him, didn't have the same impact, was kind of lost in these larger skirmishes. Whereas Jace was just rampaging through in a way that you didn't expect. That was kind of the surprising part of the draft, is when they went forward, it was with reckless abandon in some of these fights.
And not a couple minutes later, we have a hilarious chase through the Dragon River all the way to the Indium here for G2. This is just kind of fun to watch, but WE putting the pedal to the metal once they got an advantage here.
Turbo Jace, Condi's right behind him, and they're going to chase him all the way into the base here. Condi going to go for the cut off, and they will be able to catch up to Trick.
Yeah. Make sure everybody runs through the acceleration gate. Everybody catches the Nami speed. They just keep going and going. And he's in front, so he may as well take the turret, he figures.
Exactly. I love that he's just willing to just flash into the second turret. He's like, we are killing them all!
I absolutely love it. I mean, the fire that these guys came out with once they had that lead, that's what they're going to need to sustain, though, now through a couple more games.
And it's really interesting, right? Because we're saying we love the fire from Xie diving in. This is how we're going to get him. He was doing the same on Lucian. We have to remember that, and we were not praising him for those moves. So they're still bringing the same attitude, and it just worked a lot better this time with better execution.
All right, but the man that kind of made it all happen here was Condi, right? I mean, this guy was a playmaker on Lee Sin. We've seen it in the past, but really turned it on this game around.
And it was just a different matchup also against the Graves. You know, going to be on the back foot when it comes to the face checks, but some of these skirmishes were out of this world. Getting the kills so frequently before the heroic entrance could come in, and then insect mechanics, sniping of the Qs, everything was working.
Yeah, because this team composition inherently doesn't seem like it has a large amount of initiation, but they were always finding pretty much a completely clean pick at the very start of fights.
Speaking of clean,
that was
this Baron seal,
Oh
jumping over, kicking away, and securing. That was the essence of clean. Clean Lee Sin is a meme. Clean Lee Sin is what we got in this game.
And you know what's interesting? I want to go to Azael's point around drafting now as we kind of look forward to Game 4 here. Because for G2, I think a lot of us would agree that coming through this champs like to say, hey, that looks like a very comfortable draft for them, something you'd be happy to end up with for that G2 squad. Yeah. But sustaining a loss like that a lot of times can, you know, put that seed in your brain. You begin to question the decisions that you've made and the champs that you've pulled out within that loss.
I don't know. Exactly. I don't have the same critique like of the champion select, and I think that they should not be dissuaded from that. Just play to their strengths.
Yeah, G2, I feel like, has actually been pretty steady across these 3 games. They're finding the win conditions of their team composition and trying to move towards that. This game, I feel like Team WE was just executing at a much higher level for the mid-game pick. So the inconsistency of Team WE could end up being their killer here because they need to go on a 3-game run.
And what I really want to find out is that we had one style of G2 in group stages. The late game, the late game, the late game. It got them this far, but unconvincingly. We had one style in the first 2 games. They executed that. And now, again, they're going to be looked at for a new style. It'll be really interesting to see if they keep the same band where G2 goes in the draft, because it'd be a surprise to me to see a third comp, and I feel like they need a third comp to actually take the series win.
Now G2's got that 1-game buffer. It's still do or die for Team WE, and we'll see if they can bring this to a Game 5 in just a few minutes. Meet us back here after the break.
Is going wild. So much noise here in Rio. No flashes available. Mystic tries to put some damage in the biokick.
Condi's here.
Zero's able to flash to safety. Condi's now the target. Sven continues to chase him down. Condi's going to at least warthog to safety. Trick is pretty low from that red buff. Stand United by some time. Damage reduction from the heroic entrance. Backs knocked up to knockdowns. Trick is already dead. Miffy's now forced to run away. Sven uses the 90 caliber net and expect he's doing a great job at buying time. Perps connects with a charm and allows Sven to get the kill onto Condi before Sven gets shut down.
Survive for now, but Perks kicked in.
Oh, Perks is in so much trouble.
Oh my god. Lento, lento.
All right, double bubble there for G2. Condi's going to kick away Trick. Set that up. See that before.
I love that. I love that.
It looks even better now. It doesn't matter. G2 continue to defend.
Oh, and he goes forward. He gets killed by Mystic.
Sorry.
The Nexus is the focus, and WE give us a series.